Good bless everybody. I'm Maria Eden. It is the 13th day of April 2024. The energy for today is about seeing the inner beauty. It's some words associated with the day is being empathetic and alarmed and tired, revitalize, participate, and contribute. So those are some of the key words for today. Now let me tell you the overall energy for today. The overall energy for today is about friendship and spirituality. It's about creativity and doing something good for somebody other than yourself. Okay? Doing something good for somebody other than yourself, forming new friendships. Because you know what I'm seeing that is that you may be en route to something, right? You may be on your way to go see another friend today, and you may come across a drug addict. You may come across a prostitute. You may come across a homeless person. You may come across someone who is having a mental health breakdown. You may come across somebody in need today. And what you are encouraged to do today is to take the time out. If you see the need, feed. Okay? If you see the need, feed. Do you know that I was homeless? And do you know that there were times when I had to ask people, outside of my pride and ask people for money? And this is when I wasn't homeless. This is when somehow or another, something happened, or I got paid and I had a check that I couldn't cash, and I need gas, and I'm at this gas station. And one time I asked this brother, I said, do you have $3 that I can put in my gas tank? And he was military and I was military. And I'm thinking that he will help a sister out. Baby, he looked at me and kept on walking like he didn't hear me. I guess he saw the military sticker on my car and was thinking like, yeah, she don't need nothing. I don't know. But I really did need something. I was really in need. But I figured it out. Praise God. I figured it out. So that goes to say is that you never know. This goes back to in the biblical sense about, God. And I shared this with you a little bit, when they say, Lord, when did we see you? And we didn't give you anything to eat, or we didn't give you anything to drink. And he said, except you, basically, because I don't know the word verbatim, but he said, because you didn't do it for the least of these. You didn't do it for me. And if you know anything about Jesus, the one you call Jesus, Yeshua, the one that you call Yeshua, but I know him by another name. But if you know anything about him, you know that he's a master shapeshifter. Like, you don't know who you're dealing with. He can be anybody he wants to be. He could be sitting right in front of you, and you would never know it was him until he makes it known that it was him, unless you're sensitive enough to know about who you're dealing with. For instance, when we talk about like Mary Magdalene, right? At first, she didn't even recognize Jesus, the one you call Jesus. At first, she didn't even recognize him. And why didn't she recognize him? Because he did not come to her as himself at first. He didn't want to be noticed at first. So what did he shape shifted. He looked different. That's why she didn't recognize him. Or like me, she saw the crucified version of him and didn't recognize him in that way. When he came to me in this life, and when I was in my 20s, I saw the crucified version of him, to where his face was red, his hair was dark and curly, and his eyes were piercing. And I said, oh Lord, I don't know what that is I saw, but if it's not you, I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. And so that's another story that I share it and I'll probably share it with you again. So it's like you never know who you're dealing with. And the Father talks about giving the cold cup of water. That's the Father. He talks about giving the cold cup of water to the least of his. To the least of his. That's how you're going to get the reward of the children of God. That's how you're going to get the reward. See, some people think that they are all God's children. You are not all God's children. Some of you are God's grandchildren. Some of you are the children of God's grandchildren. Okay? And so there is a different type of relationship. Some are closer than others, but all are family. But as time goes by, seeming that we're all family, sometimes we don't all look like we're family. And sometimes we change in our physique, in our mannerisms, in our speech. We start forming new languages and speaking new languages. But all in all, we're all family. So when you're walking past somebody on the street, don't you know that that's your brother and your sister and your cousin and your auntie and your auntie and your mother? They're family. And when I was out there in them streets, on them streets, baby, that's what I learned. I learned that I could be myself out on those streets. I learned that there was so much wisdom and so much talent on them streets. I learned that the enemy is on them streets too. But I also learned that there's some saints and some angels out there on them streets as well. I learned that there are some powerful testimonies out there in them streets, on them streets. I learned that there's preachers, teachers, prophets, seers, people that God has called out, the chosen of God that's called out, that's doing good out there in them streets. They're going to feed the homeless. They're giving water and they're giving food. I learned that out there on them streets, in them streets, on them streets, in them streets. I learned that. And if you are one of those that fed me, and if you are one of those that gave me a place to stay, and if you are one of those that gave me something to drink, I'm going to guarantee you that God has seen you and your reward is going to be great. Your reward is great. It is great in heaven. You have a room prepared for you. God is going to bless you beyond measure because you have blessed me. And not only did you bless me, you have blessed others that were there in them streets, on them streets of his. So you're going to receive, for some of you, it's going to be a prophet's reward. Some of you, it's going to be a child's reward. Some of you, it's going to be a saint's reward. Okay? You are going to receive your reward. And so if you see someone that's homeless on the streets, be empathetic. But also there is caution to this on approach. When you approach, you remember when I told you that bitterness sometimes can have a nasty bite? Some of these people done been through some stuff and on some stuff, okay? And so you have to be cautionary when you walk up to them and approach, okay? Not in judgment, but approach in love. Because you might be surprised. They are looking, either they have a word for you. Oh, because God can use anybody. Trust and believe. God can use anybody. Either they have a word for you or you have a word for them, because you minister with your voice. You minister with your spirit. You have been doing this your whole entire life. So don't be afraid to approach, because you have been doing it. You have been prepared for times such as this. So you have what it takes. See, your voice alone can uplift a spirit. You have what it takes to encourage people out of the situations and circumstances that they are in. You, baby, you. So you're needed out here in this world. And they need you out here in this world. And when you are talking to them, remember I said, don't do it in judgment. Do it out of love. Talk to them as you would a friend in need. Talk to them as you would a friend. Okay? Because as I said, you might be thinking that you there to help them, but they gonna help you. Oh, people will surprise you. Because the ones you think are foolish, they might just be the wise pretending to be fools. Okay, because it's a difference. It's a difference. Some people might act like they don't know to learn something from those who think they know it all, that don't know what they think they know. Okay, so God sends people out. It's like, oh shoot, let me see. Who was that? Yeah, you just never know. Okay, let's just say you just never know, because you might be entertaining angels unawares, and believe me, baby, you are. You are entertaining in this season, in this day and time. Okay, people skim over this part of the Bible to where it said that Jesus is not going to just come by himself, that he's going to come with those that walked with him in the past, with saints of his. And in some I think it's like 420 and it's 401, right? Some say it's 420 and some say it's 401. Okay, and so when it comes down to numbers, you cannot go all the way off the numbers, right? Because things are never set in stones. Things are constantly changing. So nothing is really set in stone per se. But the overall message is still the same. That he's not alone. That his 12 disciples is with him. All the women that walked with him are with him. All those martyrs that died for him are with him. Okay? And so the dead has risen is what I'm trying to tell you. Is what I'm trying to tell you. So in this day and time, they might look homeless. They might look like a prostitute. They might look like a drug addict. You never know. I got on this bus one day, and it's just like when I was out there in them streets, on them streets, in the streets, I just let God use me because he was teaching me some stuff. And I just went wherever he told me to go because we're building trust. And one day I got on this bus and I had my Bible in my hand. And this man, he had on some glasses, but behind his glasses I could see that he had like light blue eyes. And he pinpointed me out and he said, "Do you know the history of your Bible?" In a sense. And he said, "That's an old Bible." And he said, "You see here, these here are all where all of this used to be gold, and this is where all the fingerprints and all this." He said, "You see here, this is an old Bible. You didn't just come across this Bible for no reason. This Bible has been in your family for a long, long time." And this man, he went on to say some more stuff to me. But I knew that I was in the presence of an angel just by the way he was talking to me. Because at this point I know, because I was in the presence of demons and angels out here on the street, on them streets. They got to deal with a lot. I mean, a demon sat right in front of me. I had to sleep out on the streets. This is how you know it's God. Okay. This is how you know it's God. When there is nothing you can do to prevent it. Nothing. You try everything in your power to prevent it, and it still happens. That's how you know that it is God's doing and nobody else's. And let me tell you this. So I was staying at the Salvation Army, and I thought I had ran out of days because they only give you so many days to stay there. And so I was out there in them streets, on the streets, in them streets, having to sleep out on the cold concrete. So I slept in front of the Salvation Army in Fort Worth, Texas. And I was sitting there, and I guess I must have been reading my Bible or something. And all of a sudden, a woman, she came and she sat down over there by me. And then she started talking to me. And I just listened to her talk. I didn't say much. But then she started telling me stuff about me that was adverse to me. She started telling me about all the stuff that I used to be, and that I was struggling with. And she started telling me all these things, all my insecurities about myself. And I realized then that I was dealing with a demon. And then she said, "You don't know God." She said, "You don't know God." She said, "I am God." She said, "If you are a Vanderbilt," she said something about a Vanderbilt. And later on, I found out like that the Vanderbilts were a very wealthy family. Okay. But she said, if you're not a Vanderbilt, you don't know God. She said, "You're probably Church of Christ." That was one of my struggles. Okay. She said, "You're probably Church of Christ. You don't know God. I am God." That's how I knew I was dealing with a demon. See, you know you're dealing with a demon when that demon the demon knows stuff about you, right? But the demon knows your insecurities, and they'll start playing on those insecurities. For me, it's you're a witch. You're a witch. You're a witch. You're a witch. Because that's one of my insecurities. You're a witch. You're a witch because all my life, in this life and past lives, I've been called the prostitute and I've been called the witch. But God calls me something else. And so that's what I sit in. So when you, and this even, I talked about the homeless, the prostitutes, the drug addicts, but even people who you think are witches. Even people who you think do not know God, baby, you will be shocked and surprised because the pure in heart shall see God. Okay? So if you see these psychics out here and they're having these so-called psychics out here and they're having visions and they're having premonitions, if you listen to them, they will tell you more about God than anybody else. Because they know him. They have a relationship with him. I'm not talking about these out here that are satanic, that are devil worshiping. I'm talking about the seers in the world. I'm talking about the oracles in the world. And what some people won't allow you to notice is that when we're talking about David and Bathsheba, the lineup, Bathsheba wasn't just anybody. Bathsheba came from a long line of advisors. The Queen of Sheba, Bathsheba, come from the same line, okay? But they come from the line of advisors. What was her name of her father? So her grandfather was the advisor. I can't think of his name. What was his name? I think it started with an A. Her grandfather was the advisor to King David. Okay. And her father was Eliam. Okay. That was her father. And so at least I think I got the name right. Eliam was the father of Bathsheba. Okay. And so he was the He was the son of the one of the greatest oracles. And they say that this oracle actually committed suicide. That's what they say in the Bible. So she come from a long line of what we call magicians. Yes, know that. Know that. I said it. A long line of magicians. Mary Magdalene came from that same line, that long line of magicians. But we call them magicians now, but they were called oracles then. They were advisors, because before you had the before you had astrologists, you had the oracles that knew the knowledge but didn't share the knowledge. The three wise men would be considered oracles. They would come from that same line. Okay, so I'll go further in depth on that another, because right now I'm talking about something different. But today is the day for spirituality, so that's probably why this is coming up like it's coming up. But so you never know who you're really dealing with. So treat people like you would treat a friend, because one thing that you must realize about people that you think are in sin, sometimes they are not in sin. Okay, they are not in sin. And yeah, no, they are not in sin. They are not in sin. They are in ignorance. They are in naivety. They're in the foolish stage of their life. So you're not in sin, baby. You're in ignorance. And if you give yourself a chance, you're going to come out of that. I believe you are. Oh, what is her name? I love this girl. Oh, but I can't think of her name right now. Oh, but I love her so much. I can't think of her name. There is a young lady, and she's very popular. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Father. Krishan Rock. I think that's her name, Krishan. I love this girl. And let me tell you why I love her. Because I see me in her, the younger me. I see me in her. But let me tell you why I also love her, and why she's overlooked, and people don't get it. People don't get that this young girl is not just anybody, for one. Okay. And if you pay attention, you will see that she is one of these that I talk about. You just never know, because I know that she ministers to some people that are around her. She encourages some people. I feel it, baby. She encourages some people that are around her. And if you watch her videos, she got some preachers in her background. She's listening. She's learning. So where you see a fool, baby, I see a child of God. When you see a fool, I see a child of God. You never know. You sleep on some of these people if you want to. Sleep on some of these people. That even goes for Tamar. Sleep on some of these people if you want to. But they just might surprise you. When it's all said and done, it's going to be the ones that you least expect. Have you heard that before? It's always the ones that you least expect to make it. You least expect to make something out of themselves. You least expect to become, that are the ones that end up doing something great in the world. It's the ones that have the stutter, like Moses. It's the ones that are outcasted, like Joseph. It's the ones that are peculiar. Baby, sleep on these people if you want to. Because even who was that? Even Paul was out here, what they say was slaying Christians back in his day. So God can use anybody. So don't give up on people. They are at the start of, sometimes it's people, they are at the start of a journey that they got lost on. Okay. So for instance, somehow or another, gotta get them out there, gotta send them out, and they end up on these streets, in them streets. And it looks like, you know, they don't have what they need or something or another, or something happens to where they get discouraged, and then they get stuck on the portion of the journey that they're in. And they get stuck in their war's knee because they stop running through and leaping over. Baby, you got to continue to run through and leap over everything that you're going through. You got to continue to run through and leap over. That's how you get out of your situation. I am going to guarantee to you, when you allow yourself to make it past this, when you allow yourself to start fighting for your life, oh my Lanta, your blessing is on the other side of this. Your blessing is on the other side of this. You think you can't get through this? I thought I couldn't get through that. I made it. I made it. So I'm telling you right now, you are already a success. You are already a success. Let your feet keep hitting that ground and keep stepping. Keep on moving. Every day you are making progress. What people see your actions on the outside, but they don't see your actions on the inside. Don't you know that the actions you make on the inside trump the actions that you make on the outside? So don't think about what they got to say. Think about that progress that you're making. Think about the progress that you're making. And you can't go get to your progress without going through the process. Baby, you're making progress internally. So that means because you're making it internally, when it's all said and done, baby, you're going to be ready for anything and everything that happens externally. You're going to be able to run through and leap over. That's why. That's why you're asking, why me, God? Why do I have to go through this, God? It's because God is breaking you to the point to where you're unbreakable, because he has a season for you to where you're going to have to be unbreakable, because he's going to have people that's seemingly walking all over you. But when they're walking all over you, they're not going to know what they're walking on. They're going to think they're walking on broken glass, but they're not just walking on broken glass. They're walking on a piece of art. They're walking on God's muse. Better know it. You better know it. You're not just anybody. Baby, you're God's chosen, and you got lost on that journey. You got lost. But baby, you are now found. God says, I see you. I see you. I save whom I choose, and I chose you. I don't care if you're laying down in your own vomit. You're getting drunk. You're struggling with your sexuality. You're struggling. Yes, I said it. You're struggling with your sexuality. You're struggling with addiction. You're struggling with any kind of thing that you're struggling with. I don't care if you're struggling with your weight, gluttony. Baby, I chose you. And I'm going to snatch you out of it when you make yourself available for me. So be cautious on your approach when you approach those who are out here in these streets, on these streets, because what you'll notice is that, like I said, bitterness has a bite. And so they've had people approach them and they were treated badly, but treat them good and you will receive good. That's a promise that I can promise you. Treat them good and you will receive good. I can promise you that. But if you treat them bad, so you are a natural healer. You are a natural healer. So sometimes just being in your presence is healing. That's why people are attracted to you and they're drawn to you. Me and Sproul, one of my friends that we were in service together, we were in the military together. And so we would go out to eat together, or we'll go downtown San Diego and we just be there and walking around and whatever and just having our liberty. And it never fails. It never fails. Somebody somehow always found their way to me. It got so bad, and they wouldn't just they would follow me all the way back to base, in a sense. They would talk to me the whole entire way. It got so bad that Sproul said, she calls me Shan. And she said, Shan, I'm going to stop going places with you. She said, because every time we go places together, people just come up to you and just start talking to you just out of blue. People start following us home. And so it happens just like that. It's because it's not me that they see the God in me. It's not that you that they see the God in you. It's something warm about you that they see. Is something, it's that light in you. Is, you know how it says the moth is attracted to the flame, like a moth to a flame? Well, you are that light, you are that flame. So of course some of the bugs now, not, they're not bugs, but in a sense, get the metaphor. Some of the bugs are attracted to the light. But not just bugs, birds. Even birds are attracted to the light. Animals are attracted to the light. They go to the light to get the warmth from the light. Well, you are that warmth. And so the sun, it has healing properties. So remember, that's why I said don't go look at that eclipse, because you are the light. You are only to consume more light, not that darkness, because darkness dims the light. But baby, if you know anything about a lamp, anything that tries to cover a lamp, if it sits there too long, baby, that lamp will burn a hole right through it. So do not judge. Assure and accept. Treat as you would a friend. Motivate them to want to change. And the way that you motivate them to want to change is just by being that friend, being loving, sharing that smell, sharing that smile. Yeah, because you got the smell of God on you. Sharing that smile. And do you know, yeah, I said smell, but do you know demons can smell you? They can. But not only can demons smell you, but saints can smell you as well. I think that was Pastor Ladaria Watts Mobley, I think that is. I watch her. Bless you. She has such a beautiful spirit, and I think I got that from her about the scent. I think she said something along those lines about how we carry a scent, and people can smell the scent of God on you. And so they're attracted to you. Evaluate others through care and compassion. Elevate others through care and compassion and encouragement. That's why when I was doing all my writing, I would just encourage you. You know, sometimes I would tell you what God has to say, because that's what I'm here for. I have to. If I don't talk about God, I'm not talking about my purpose. I'm not in my purpose. So I have to talk about God. But I'm here to encourage you and love you. But not only am I here to do that, you're also here to do that for yourself and others. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself, but you also have to encourage others, because it takes effort to understand wants and needs. Okay? It takes effort to understand wants and needs. So sometimes the reason why the world is in trouble right now is because wants and needs are being ignored. The people are being ignored. I'm for the people. And this generation here, they're saying, I am not going to settle for anybody that is not going to feed me substance. Anybody, I'm on a search. I'm trying to elevate. I'm trying to get to the kingdom. I'm trying to get to that next level. But they know that they got to be different to make a difference. They got to break out of the box. You too. You have to be different to make a difference. You have to break out of the box. You have to break out of the box. The box is there to control. Okay? For control. And if you're stuck in this boundary and you're stuck in this box, then you're not being able to do what it is that God is having you to do. God needs you to walk in your purpose, but you can't really walk in your purpose to meet the people, places, and things that you need to meet, because you're stuck and trapped in this box, afraid to be yourself, afraid to talk to those that others have shunned in society. God doesn't want you to shun those that he has put on your path. He wants you to love them. He wants you to feed them when you see them hungry. He wants you to give them something to drink when you see them thirsty. He wants you to be a friend to the friendless. Amen. So, like I said, the words associated with today is about seeing the inner beauty, being empathetic. And now there is caution about, so one of the words is alarmed. Okay. Alarmed, a wake up call. That's what an alarm is a wake up call. Something about being tired and needing to be revitalized. Participate and contribute. That's what the energy for today is centered around. Other words associated with today is vacuum or vacuum. I cannot pronounce this word, but it's VACUI. And it means a fear of leaving empty spaces. So what artists do, they try to fill in every crevice, right? So that ties on with the energy for today as well, because, the homeless and people that are going through, sometimes they're looked over and people can have the space for them and not want to fill that space, right? But so God is saying, fill that space. If you have an empty space, fill that space. Use it to put something that needs to go there. Another word is cough. I don't know. I can't pronounce the word. Fusi. Fusi is a C word, seaweed. Fusi, Fuci. It's a seaweed. Then you have waif, WAIF, and that's a homeless, neglected, or abandoned person. I didn't make this stuff up. This is in the words of today. And VAC, VAC, that could stand for something significant about vaccination. That could be something like, be short for vacuum, something about somebody needing to be clean or cleaning up. VAW, VAW. So you might be the one that inspired them to clean themselves up. VAW, VAW. Don't know. Caw, the harsh cry of a crow or a bird like a crow. A caw. So God is saying, don't ignore the caw. Do not ignore the call. Do not ignore the cries of others. And crows, believe it or not, crows are spirits. Crows are ancestors. A lot of times, crows and ravens are spiritual beings. And then you have via. So en route, traveling. So that's why I said, if you're traveling, you may come across somebody in need today. VU, a feeling of already experiencing something. So you may have deja vu moment, like I've been here before. I talked a little bit about that yesterday, about having a deja vu moment, like, wait a minute, this happened before. And so that is the VU. And so you might come across somebody that seems familiar to you, like or you might be driving, you're like, wait a minute, I know that house, or I know that place. If you see somebody in transition, a homeless person, if you see a homeless person in need, stop. Don't abandon them. Don't ignore the cry, the crow, or whatever. Something significant about AI today as well. Something significant about UFC. Something significant about VA. It could be Virginia. It could be the Veterans Administration. And something significant about FI, F-I, uh, and F-A, F-A. I got football association, so it could be something significant about soccer. And so as far as, and then also CW. So something significant could happen when in regards to CW. Now, I say that this is the daily energy, but you know, energy doesn't disappear. So this might be the start of an energy that is going to progress over days. So what I've noticed that if I say this today, it might show up tomorrow or the next day. Okay. So because energy doesn't go away, it just goes on. So I say it's the energy of today is because it's developing today. It might happen today, but you might not hear about it for days later. Okay. Well, I love you. Remember to do something good today. And the affirmation today is I will be what I want to see in the world. That's the affirmation today. Let's repeat it again. I will be what I want to see in the world. I will be what I want to see in the world. 'Cause I'm that girl. I will be what I want to see in the world. 'Cause I'm that boy. I'm that man. I'm that woman to do the job and get it done. Yes. And get it done. Yes. I'm the man, I'm the woman, I'm the boy, I'm the girl, I'm the baby too for the job. Yeah. Because they say a child will lead them. I'm the one. Yeah. I'm the one. Yeah. I'm the one. I love you, good one. Hearts go out.